Late morning. I just wanted to do a little update, and it's been a while since I've done an update, but I just been very lazy and I didn't want to go through all my plants, so I've been trying to get everything sorted in a way that it's easier to just put all the updates into tiny, nice bits and pieces. So let's start off with my slipper orchids. So, any other slipper orchids that I might be missing? No, I don't think so. These are all my slipper orchids. So, let's start off with this new baby here. This is a new baby, and this is a hybrid that I got from my recent local society meeting of Paphiopedilum druryi and Paphiopedilum micranthum. And as you can see, we've got there we go. We got a new growth for coming out here. I put it in mostly charcoal and sphagnum mix, which I did repot it maybe a week ago. So it's just now getting acclimated to my conditions. As you can see here, we got some blackness of the tips, but I'm not too worried about going crazy for it. It is being reacclimated, so it's going to fuss a little bit, but I look forward to it doing well. The pattern here is quite nice. If we can get a closer look there we go. Not bad, not bad. So I look forward to this. Apparently this is not a registered cross yet between druryi and micranthum, so I'm excited to see how this one does. Here, what is this one? Paphiopedilum mint chocolate. It's got much darker leaves, but got a very interesting pattern going on here. Let's see. Let's turn on this light here. See if it makes any difference. No, not really. Focus, please. There you go. So we got a dead leaf here. I'm not too worried about rot per se, because we do have a new growth popping out over here. There we go. This is a dead thing, so I could lop it off at some point. I'm not too worried about trying to make sure that this is going to be a problem. I think this is just naturally, it's deciding to let go of this to feed this one, this growth over here. So, yep, it's doing quite well. Next, we have Paphiopedilum fairrieanum crossed with Maudiae Los Osos. Anywho, the patterns on this one is quite nice. It's more less of a spots, more of a thunderbolts, or it's got a very marbled look to it. Very nice. So we got a dead leaf here, but we got a new growth here and a new growth here. I think there's another growth somewhere, but I can't be bothered to search for it in this awkward setup that I'm using. But otherwise it's doing quite well. Rather slow compared to the other ones, but then again, Paphiopedilums really don't grow that fast. Never ever. Alright, moving along. This one, what are you? You are Misty Lantern Purple Flash crossed with Paph Norito Hasegawa Cream Puff. Okay, so this is a very nice bunch of leaves, and I got some infection there that's dried out already, so I'm not too worried about it. You got one new growth here and one new growth here. There you go. All in all, looking quite lovely. So this cross, I've been wanting this cross ever since I saw one of its siblings, and the flower on this one doesn't look like the sibling. It's not the pretty sibling. But since this is the first bloom of this one, I guess I'm willing to grow it again, let that growth fill out, and see if a new flower looks any better. And I'm hoping that by giving it some brighter light, that I can convince it to have more of the red tints, purple tints that its cousin had. This one was just, this one looked very close to just the regular Malio, the parentage of Maliopoense, Paphiopedilum Maliopoense. Just very green, didn't have much of pink markings, other than it did have a very reddish pink nose, so shield, staminode, whatever you want to call it. It was quite nice. But the flowers faded, and I'm hoping to get a new bloom soon. Alright, this is the one. This is the Paphiopedilum that made me get into Paphiopedilums all of a sudden. This is a Paphiopedilum superbiens. Yes. And yes, I can see. And you're asking, why is it in moss? Moss is heresy. Well, it came to me in moss. So either, you know, and it seemed well adapted to the moss when I pulled it out of the pot. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna let it stay in moss. But what I am doing is I am keeping dolomitic lime available. You can probably see some pellets if I hold it still well enough, but to cancel out the possible acidity of the of moss, and I flush it pretty well. I don't allow a lot of fertilizer water to be on this one. But look at that white foliage. It looks very yellow on the camera. Let's see if I can balance this to be more what it looks like to me. It looks, well, the light is very yellow right now, but if it was an indoor light, it would look like this. It would look like this. There you go. Something like that. It's very white marble. This is the original fan that it came with, and as you can see, the markings are much darker compared to these ones. And I'm guessing either it will darken and when the leaves mature, or the problem is that it's been back there with pink lights instead of normal light, as supplemental light. So it gets some sunlight, you know, some shaded afternoon light, but most of the time it gets a pink light. So perhaps that's the reason why the color of the green isn't as nice and dark as this one. Anywho, so this is the new fan, and you can see a new leaf is popping out there. The leaves seem to be maybe about the same size, smaller at the moment, but it still has room to grow, so I'm not too worried. As for the roots, you know, the roots don't look like they're in good condition, but it's still growing. There's no sign of serious rot that makes me worried, so I'll wait. As you can see, there's also a new growth here. These two growths actually came out at the same time, but one decided to flourish, the other one's just waiting its turn. So that's nice. And last but not least, so how many paths was that? 6 in total. And last but not least, this one. This biggin. So this guy has been in bloom since the beginning of January-ish, but the flowers are now fading and wilting. It's a good thing I was able to get it into the Orchid Society just a week or two ago, before it decided to, you know, it's now kicking the bucket with these blooms. That being said, oh, and before that also, when I brought this for show and tell on that night for the Orchid Society, it was voted as as the best specimen. It tied, not best specimen, but the nicest plant on the show off table. But it actually tied with someone else. But you know, I was proud. I'm not sure if I have the video of this one in its full glory on the YouTube channel. I should. If I don't, well, it will be there. Oh, it looks so pathetic now. Oh well. So here we have a growth. Very nice. And I think there's another growth around here. Yes, there is. There's another growth right there. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Cool. Is there another growth anywhere? No? Not that I see. Oh well. So yeah, this one's doing quite well. It came when I first bought it. It had one bloom, and then I left it alone. on the lower part of my shelf with a lot of pink light, and somebody came up with 2 blooms in 2 different fans. Very nice. Alright, well, I think that's about it. So I currently have 7 lady slipper orchids in my collection of 90 plus orchids. A lot of them are small, but yeah, I have 90 plus orchids in my collection. Can you believe that? Ridiculous. Just so we can have another nice look at all the foliage that's available. There's that one. There's this one. Yeah. That's one of the nice things about Paphiopedilums. They always have very interesting foliage. Let's get a better focus on this one. With how the light glares, it's not easy to see how cool this one is. Oh, also, yeah, I did a poor job in deciding how I wanted the light direction to come off, but you can see it's dark purple beneath the leaves. Same thing with this one over here. Nice. And then last but not least, these 2. Very cool. Yep, I'm getting into Paphs now, little by little. Alright, that's it. Bye.